Hello and welcome. And today we have a special guest. Her name is Miss Lisa Washington. I will be bringing her on momentarily, but I want to tell you a little bit about her. Um, First of all, I used to work with her at OIC. At one point, she was my supervisor, an excellent supervisor, and just an excellent, caring, compassionate person overall. Now, she is a powerhouse as far as I'm concerned. And it's a lot for me to read about her. She is a social worker and she attended Morgan State University, the School of Social Work, where she received her bachelor's of social work degree in 1989. Now, she has set an example of leadership, endurance, and dedication with over 30 years of service in the field of social work, workforce development, substance abuse, mental health, and youth programs. Ms. Washington has worked in several capacities as a contractor liaison within the District of Columbia's Department of Employment Services, Department of Health and Human Services, Youth Services Division, and nonprofit sectors. Presently, Ms. Washington is the Quality Assurance Program Director with the Institute for Emotional Regulation, LLC. Ms. Washington has a passion for working with young girls. Thus, she has created IER's first virtual I'm So Pretty Fall Series Girls Group due to COVID-19. This group focuses on self-esteem, awareness, and empowering the young African American girls to have a voice. Ms. Washington has continually been a staple of influence in the community. She is currently a member of Who's Who Executives and Professionals, certified psychiatric rehabilitation practitioner, and dual diagnosis clinician. Ms. Washington is also a certified professional life coach, providing individual support and working with families, couples, and women and children of domestic violence. Ms. Washington and her husband currently jointly own Alternative Clinical Solutions, LLC. This is a husband and wife counseling team which offers a holistic approach that focuses on the mind, body, and spirit. Recently, Ms. Washington joined the Maryland Respite Care Coalition. She is currently functioning as a chairperson of one of the focus groups. She is a member of the Hands of Hope, a caregiver support group. It has been in this group where Ms. Washington has found strength, support, her voice, and advocacy as she navigates being a caregiver for both of her parents. Ms. Washington is married to Sean Washington. They have 3 young adult children and 3 beautiful grandchildren. Although Ms. Washington has dedicated her life to helping others and being a caregiver to her parents, she makes an effort to find time to socialize with family and friends. So let's welcome Ms. Washington. Okay, are you unmuted? Oh, okay. I don't know. We're having technical difficulties. I can't hear you. Let me see. Hmm. It looks like you're on. I see you, but I can't hear you. It doesn't say your mic is muted. Are you on your PC? Okay. Hmm. Well, it shouldn't mute you. Like I said, it's not muted. Okay. We will work through this. We will figure it out. Um, you look in your settings. Does it have? Hmm. Is anything coming up? Anything? You want to try it again? Yeah, because it's not saying. Say, let me just make sure. Let me try this and then try this. And your volume is up? Hmm. I don't know why we. Okay, but you can hear me, right? Hmm. Okay, we're going to get this together, people. So don't worry. Be happy. It's all good. We will figure this out. Because this is just a great thing. I still don't hear you. You want to try it from your phone, or can you try it from your phone? Okay. Okay. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
I don't know what.
I did it on my phone. I went
Okay.
off my iPad and then I just did it on my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know
That
why I
is
didn't.
weird. Can you see me though?
Yes, I can see you really
Oh, okay.
well. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So it's great to see you.
Good to see you also. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opening. I'm like, who is that person?
That is you for
Oh
sure.
Lord have
For
mercy. I'm so
sure.
nervous, Cecilia.
Why? It's
I
just me and
don't
you
know. I
talking. It's
know,
just
but
me and you talking.
I'm on this Facebook live kind of thing, that.
I totally understand because when I first did it, I didn't know what the world I was doing. Then I was like, people are really some people may see this. So, but it's all good. It's just I just said, it's like I'm talking to whoever I'm talking to. And even if I go on by myself, I'm just having a conversation, with myself. I try not to answer myself, but I do try to
It's okay.
have
You can
a
answer yourself every now and again.
conversation. But I am just so thankful that you accepted my invitation to come on and talk about being a caregiver because you are caregiving for two parents. So if you can just kind of give us a background on how this all came about. Where were you in life when you realized you had to become a caregiver?
Um, I think about that often, and everything kind of like happens so
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
My our son just graduated from high school. We just kind of like renovated the kitchen in the house, and I was like, yes.
Mhm.
He went away to school. He went to stay with his dad, and then my daughter. I was about to have my first granddaughter, and I was excited
Oh,
about
wow.
spoiling her and all
Mhm.
of that. And I was just working, consulting my husband and I. Um, and I just remember it was December, I think. a
Mm-hmm.
2016, 20, no, my granddaughter 2017.
Okay.
And my dad called in and said, your mom got some tests and it might be cancer. And so I was
Mm.
like, okay, cool. We're going to get through this. She's God
Right.
fearing and she's a pastor. I read up on it. It's looking like multiple myeloma. So my brother
Okay.
and I kind of got our heads together, and I just said, okay, I'll just take her to chemo because I was working from home. No big deal.
Right.
And then through that whole process, um, my parents were living in Germantown, Maryland. I was living in Fort Washington. And through that process, I noticed going back and forth that my parents were getting a little older. And I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
how did the time go? What's transpiring, and things just kind of evolved.
Right.
As I was preparing, to take care of mom, I noticed that my dad wasn't doing that well. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of drew back from my social work residential kind of thing, and I was setting medication cases up, and I was like, well, Dad, where's your medicine? He's like,
Right.
I don't know.
Oh no.
And I was like, he's in the other room, he can hear me, both of my parents can hear me. So
Uh-huh.
um but it's a joy being a caregiver, and I know
Yes.
because
Yes.
you were a caregiver to your mom, and I remember when you were being a caregiver
Yes.
to your mom. It's one of the most rewarding jobs, but it's difficult at the
Yes.
same time.
Difficult. Yes,
It's
definitely.
a gamut of emotions. But I was like, well, Dad, where's
Totally.
your medicine? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, over here. And I was like, well, that's kind of expired. When's the last
Mm.
time you took this? So
Wow.
they were so busy. My parents were ministers. They were
Mm-hmm.
pastoring the church, and they were doing um all kind of things, and
Mm-hmm.
um with their life. And so they were busy.
Right.
And so now this kind of like pump the brakes. Like, it's time to kind of take care of yourself. And so, I had conversations with my husband, and, I was like, I need to be going up there more, checking in on them.
Right.
And as that happened, it's just like more things started to evolve. And I was like,
Mm.
I'm going to have to stay on Tuesdays, take my mom to
Right.
chemo. And then, my brother and I, we would talk, and, family talk. And then I just remember on January 1st, 2018, my daughter and I were on our way there, and we got there, and my mom had gotten sick. And I just remember
Mm.
walking through the door, and I saw my mom on the floor, and my dad was on the phone calling the ambulance. And this kind of
Wow.
evolved from there. So, I was like, I'm gonna have to stay with them for a while.
Right.
My husband, who's my rock. I don't know what I
Yes.
would have done had I not been married to this man. He is just like my rock. He
Yeah.
is like my, everything. He was
I
like,
definitely know that. He's
he's
been
like,
through a
I'm
lot
going
with
with
you.
you.
Yes.
He's like, I'm going with you. And I was like, okay, cool. So then we
Mm-hmm.
started, staying up there. And then the next thing I know, we just kind of relocated, and now we're here in
Yeah.
Fairfax
Okay.
together, mom and dad and Sean, and we're um taking care of mom and dad. And so
Wow.
that's kind of how it evolved, how things are going.
Okay. And I know the other day when we were talking, there was an issue with your dad. I know that his Metro Access didn't.
Right. I was talking to you on the phone, and I was
Yes.
walking, trying to take care of myself, and that's one thing. I just really, it's not about bragging about
Mm-hmm.
taking care of somebody, because I'm a very private person. I don't like my business out.
Right.
And I've done this once before, but it was the people who didn't know me. And now I
Right.
know that I'm on Facebook, people know me. And
Right.
so I'm very guarded. I'm very protective of my life, my
Right.
family. But this is more to me about awareness. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yes.
Like what caregivers actually go
Go
through.
through. Mm-hmm.
And it's not like to say, oh, I take care of my parents and pat on the back and
Right.
I'm a good child. It's not about that at all.
Mm-mm.
It's
No.
about a walk. It's about a journey. And this
Yes.
is my journey.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, but yes, there was a problem with Metro Access. They ain't come pick my dad up. My dad calling me while I'm
Wow.
walking.
Yes.
Trying to get to him. I was
Yes.
like, okay, I got to take my dad. I got to load this wheelchair up in the car and get
Yes.
to, dialysis. My dad is on dialysis. So,
Right.
I called the center. I'm like, I'm walking. I said, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath, but I'm walking fast. My dad's going to be late, and then I'm calling.
Yes.
Their phone went, the system was down or something. But as I got
Wow.
there, it worked out. They
Okay.
called me and it's like, your ride is outside. So I called my dad. I was like, they said they're outside. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the issue. That's why I had to end my
And,
call
right.
with you.
And that's one thing about a caregiver. You don't know from day to day what you may encounter or have to deal with. And
Yeah.
so have you noticed that that is kind of like a constant?
It is. I
Mm-hmm.
often tell people that I don't use a pen, I use a pencil. And
Mm-hmm.
pencil
Mm-hmm.
is made to erase. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just never know.
True. You
hmm
don't
I
from
just never know. And a second.
mm-hmm.
I apologize.
Oh, no
I had to take
problem.
it. You know how it
Hey,
is.
I definitely know how it
I'm
is.
sorry. So, but yeah, you have to pencil things in because you
Mm-hmm.
just never know what could happen. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
that's
Yes.
okay. And you just have to learn to kind of walk and to do that in order, But no, you never know.
No,
You,
you
you,
don't.
you never
You
know.
don't.
So you have one ear open, one eye shut, one eye open, one eye
Yes.
closed. But
That
just
is
because I
so
want the
true.
best for my parents, really.
Yes.
And as a
Yes.
caregiver, you want the best for your loved one, and you're afraid that you might not be doing your best. So you have to
Yes.
do those kind of things. At least it is for me.
Oh, it was for me too. And you kind of the roles reverse. Now you kind of like become the parent and and you're caring for them, even though at times my mother would remind me,
Oh
I'm still
yes.
the mother, but
Oh yeah. My
you
mother
know,
does too.
but in so many ways, it's like, we have to do this, and you kind of, coaching them to say, okay,
Yeah.
we got to do
Because you
this.
know what? I found that
Hmm.
they feel bad. They feel guilty. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
yes, yes,
That they have to do this, but it's really okay. It's just a
yes,
part of what it is. They
yes,
took care of us when we were younger. They wiped our butt,
definitely.
they blew our nose,
Hmm.
all those kind of things. And so it is not for everybody.
Right, right.
I was sharing with someone the other day. It's like I've always been a caregiver to someone, or
Hmm.
that's just it makes me feel good. And I just
Right.
feel like caregivers need to be celebrated,
Yes,
and the government needs to know what actual goes on in being a caregiver. They have
definitely.
all these legislative rules and excuse me, and all these different laws for other people, veterans or whoever, but there's
Hmm.
nothing really for caregivers. And then
True.
for those who are being cared for, you work
Yes, yes.
all your
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
You go to work, you do all those things, and then you get Medicare, but then it doesn't take care of
Care of
anything.
everything. You're right. Right.
You have to be dirt broke,
Mhm.
own
Mhm.
nothing in
Mhm.
order to get care, and that's just not fair.
Right.
And I just
Right.
want to see things different for you know people who need care, people who need service, because you never
Definitely.
know when you're going to get sick or what your road is going to be when you get older. Or you don't
That
even have to be older, because caregivers just don't have to be taking care of your parent. You can be taking
exactly.
care of your spouse, your
Mhm.
children, your grandchildren.
Exactly.
It could
Mhm.
be taking care of anyone.
That is so true. And
Excuse me.
and that is true. A lot more needs to be recognized and a lot more needs to be done for those that need to be cared for as well as for the caregivers.
Mhm.
Because I fought a lot for certain things for my mom. Thank God that she lived in DC, and there are a lot of programs in DC. Mary Berry has set up a lot of things for youth and the elderly, and so a lot of those programs are still available in the District of Columbia for the elderly. On top
Yeah.
of my dad was a veteran, so she was able to get some things through that as well. But it's like you have to dig and dig and dig to find those things that can help you as the caregiver as well as the person that needs to be
Mhm.
cared for.
Mhm.
And so now, have you found that you had to be an advocate for your parents as far as even with their doctors?
Oh yeah. Because people don't respect persons that are sick or
Yeah.
older. They
Yes.
don't respect them. They feel like they can say anything, keep you waiting, you
Mhm.
know, put you on hold, prescribe anything, and it's just
Yes.
not right. So, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that things are right, and if they're
Yes.
not right, I'm gonna make sure they get right.
And did you find that, I know like you had previously said that sometimes they feel bad that you have to take care of them, and truthfully, there are times that I have actually cried because my mom was so sad that you know if she had an accident, and I had to clean her up, and she would just keep saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And that would really touch me, and I would have to say, "No, mom, it's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault. It's okay. I'm good. I'm good." And
Hmm.
so those moments, like you said, that emotional, you go through a lot of emotions during
Hmm.
this process of
Hmm.
being that caregiver, and it's your parent.
Hmm. Yep. It's a lot of emotions. It's emotional for them also, and
Hmm.
a shout out to all the caregivers that I've ever known and I still
Definitely.
know, because if you have somebody sick or you love them, check on them.
Yes,
Because they
definitely.
feel bad. Their life isn't what it used to be.
Oh, definitely.
Particularly if you were in a position where you were caring for others, whatever your
Mhm.
job, whether you were a minister or whatever,
Yes.
you took time to pray or to care for persons. And I guess that's another little conversation on like religion and 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 taking and giving back. People just get forgotten, and
Yes.
I don't think that that's right. You
No.
see what I mean? They're
No.
forgotten, and a
Mhm.
part of that is you work hard. It goes back to you work hard all your life,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
nobody ever calls you back. Nobody
Right.
calls you. You're supposed
Right.
to be the mother or the father in the ministry, or you're supposed to be,
Where's the love?
where's the love? What happened? Oh,
Yeah.
they're gone. Okay, they did the best they did, and they're gone. Washing hands. I think that's awful. I think that's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I just want awareness.
Right.
When
Right.
people are sick or people are ill, it's not what they like. They woke up one morning and said, "You know what? I want cancer now."
Yes.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Well, I want
I
to
want to
be
go to
old
dialysis, or I don't
right.
feel like walking anymore. You know what I mean? It's not that at all.
You're right.
You know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, caregivers have to take care of themselves too. We
Yes, that's true.
And I know I learned my lesson. And it's
Mm.
not that no one told me don't take care of yourself, don't put yourself first. It's a
Right.
decision that I made. And just like with any, even if you're a
Mhm.
parent or even, on the job, whatever, take care of yourself, because
Definitely.
you can get tired. And one of the things that caregivers do, people say that, well, I asked, did you need anything? But caregivers don't know what they need.
Exactly. At any given moment.
They don't, we don't know what we need. We don't know.
Right.
Like somebody said, well, how can I help you? I don't know. Just do it.
Right.
Okay. So, you want to help me? Just drop a mail off.
Right. Right. Right.
Why do I have to give you like that roadmap? A lot of people say, well, you ask, you don't get. But
Yeah.
with a caregiver, you want to make it right.
Right.
So you're
Definitely.
not thinking about who's going to step in, who's going to help, even though in the back of
Mhm.
your mind you
You're
want those
hoping.
things, you
Yes.
hoping, but
Yes.
you're too tired. It's like
Yeah.
if I have to keep on taking, that's time out of my busy day, because I got my day. It starts when I put my feet on the
Feet
floor.
on. Amen.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's just how I how I see it.
Right. Now, what are some of the things that you're doing to take care of yourself?
So I'm learning to say no. I'm
Okay.
learning to
All
say it's
right.
okay to go and buy something. Whereas
Okay.
before I was like, no, I can't buy anything. I need to cook. It's okay
Mhm.
to sleep in a little later. It's okay to go walking. 2 hours,
Mhm.
it's okay to go walking. I really, really enjoy walking because that's the time where I can think.
Okay.
I de-stress. That's
Okay.
the time where I kind of spend time with God, listen to my spiritual music, and I do all my praying then. Um,
Mhm.
and I try to really not feel guilty anymore because I had
Oh,
mommy
okay.
guilt. Because
Mm.
my children were at an age, where I,
Yeah.
I felt guilty. I feel, but
Mhm.
they're relieving me of that guilt, and I have wonderful young adult
Children.
children.
Right.
Because I would say I'm so sorry that I left, or I felt
Mhm.
like I abandoned, or they were going through, but it was God's divine order. Because guess what? They grew up, and I was nurturing them too much. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
so they're
Okay.
excellent. They're doing really good, and I'm still here for them, but just in a different way.
Right. Right.
But I love being with my grandchildren. I think they're like, they give me that
Mhm.
power just to face. I love FaceTime. And because of the pandemic, I can't really do
Really do
anything
anything.
now
Right.
anyway, because we're all trying to be healthy.
Right. So how is that? How are you handling that emotionally and mentally with this COVID hanging around and knowing that your parents, are high risk?
I don't let anybody in the house. And when I do, I
Mhm.
spray them, around them, whatever they touched.
Right.
Just like Thanksgiving, it's going to be the first Thanksgiving that we're not having a family function because of
Right.
COVID, and I think
Mhm.
everybody is feeling COVID, it's just
Yes.
not,
Yes.
um, but it's challenging. I think
Mhm.
about it a lot. Um, it's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress on that.
Yes. Yes.
But I thank God for FaceTime because I FaceTime, my grandchildren and my children. I call them,
Okay.
and they call. But that part is hard.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
part is real hard.
And so your husband is there with you. So how is he supporting you?
Pillow talks,
Okay.
just
Okay.
being there whenever I
Yeah.
need him. He cuts my mom and dad's hair because of COVID. They can't get out.
Right.
We go for rides. Emotional support. Um,
Okay.
just talk. But he is a really caring person anyway.
Right.
So he's also a caregiver for both of us. His mom relocated here, and
Okay.
so he spends a lot of time with his mom
Okay.
and helps her. She's very independent, but he wants that bond and spend time with her, so we understand one
Okay.
another when it's time to take care of our parents. And but we are working on mapping out time for just ourselves. So
Okay.
we're learning. We're new at this,
Mhm.
even though it's been a couple years. We're still learning
Okay,
how to
definitely.
adjust and how to carve out that self-care time and then time in our relationship also.
Okay, great. And so you're over one of the focus groups.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that coming along?
It's coming along well. It's a focus group on respite. I'm a part
Okay.
of the focus group regarding respite
Mhm.
to really get the word out that caregivers need to take a respite, and all that means is a break.
Right. Right.
Um, a break so that you can rejuvenate because of the emotions that you go through. Sometimes you get weary,
Yes.
and it's just like a car needs a tune up. You need a
Mhm.
tune up also. And
Yes.
so it's just about where you can get monies and funds from. For Maryland residents, there's emergency funds. You can get up to 300 and some dollars. Say
Okay.
you have to have surgery or go to a funeral, or you just need a break.
Mhm.
There are funds out there where you can get a break, um,
Okay.
for Maryland residents. And it's on the Maryland caregiving website.
Website. Okay.
Commission of Caregivers, yes, for
Commission.
Maryland. And I
Okay.
work really closely with one of the commissioners. Her name is Patricia Morris, and
Okay.
she also um, has a support group that I
Okay.
belong to.
Oh, what happened? Wait a minute. Your. Okay, there
Hold
you go.
on. Okay. It's called Hands of Hope
Okay.
Foundation.
Okay.
And the Hands of Hope Foundation is a Maryland, Prince George's County organization
Mm-hmm.
where they offer a lot of support. She offers an overwhelming amount of support for caregivers. She was once a caregiver for her mom and her dad. They
Okay.
lived in Alabama
Mm-hmm.
and they relocated to live with her in Maryland. And
Okay.
actually, she was my boss when I first graduated.
Oh,
When I first
wow.
left Morgan State,
Uh-huh.
my first job was at a place called the Green Door,
Oh,
and she was my
wow.
very first supervisor.
Oh,
And
wow.
so she was her mom's caregiver at the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So she started a foundation called Hands of Hope, and she's a commissioner also of Maryland, Patricia Morris. And that caregiver, and I encourage all caregivers to belong to a support group
Yes, I wish
because,
I would have been a part of one.
and I didn't want to do it at first. I'm being
Mm-hmm.
honest. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't, there I go with my business again. I ain't telling people my business.
Yeah.
I don't know what can they tell me,
Right,
And I went
right.
to one meeting. I was like, but
Mm-hmm.
then it's really helped me to understand and to get a voice about different things out there in the community
Mm-hmm.
that are supportive, and then just to have somebody who understands the journey,
Right,
just to
right.
understand the journey. And we have buddy. I have a buddy. We have a buddy system of,
Mm-hmm.
and my buddy just happens to be a Christian. So
Oh, okay.
she calls me, or I call her,
Wow.
and she
Mm-hmm.
goes to work. And she
Mm-hmm.
says, I'm in my prayer closet, but her prayer closet is her supply room.
Oh.
And so we talk and we text back and forth. And she's a caregiver for her mom
Okay.
as
Okay.
well. So
Hmm.
the support group, but yeah, it's called Hands of Hope Foundation. And
Mm-hmm.
anybody, if a caregiver is listening, please, I can give the phone number so that you
Yes,
can
could you?
connect with Miss Commissioner Morris, and she will lead you. But then, do you want the number now?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. It's 202
Okay.
997
Mm-hmm.
4073.
This is Hands of Hope.
Hands of Hope Foundation. Yes.
Okay. 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 So it's in the chat. So that is wow, that it what I realized kind of hindsight is that I do wish that I would have probably sought out a support group, because truthfully I didn't even know that there were support groups for caregivers. You know, I received some information that I looked up online, for being a caregiver, but I didn't go to the extent of looking for a support group. And like you, I'm kind of private as far as my business.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, I just, felt, I can handle this. But it's kind of funny that my mom's weekend aide is the one who saw that I needed respite. And
Mm-hmm.
she actually offered to say, hey, let me give you an opportunity to stay out overnight somewhere once a month. And that
Oh, that's
that did
nice.
help. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she stayed overnight with my mom. And now I would kind of feel guilty kind of telling my mom, okay, I'll be back in the morning. I mean, it's
I
like,
know, right?
yeah, and it's like,
I
oh, it's
know.
just good. But then my mom would be encouraging me, and she'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. And I still would be
Mm-hmm.
calling back, you okay?
I,
And she like, Cecilia, I'm okay. Stop calling.
I know. I know.
And knowing it's her aide that she's, familiar with, and they know, whatever. So but yeah, you kind of feel that, but you know it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's,
Yeah, it's necessary just so you can get a breather, and then they can get a
mhm.
breather too.
Right.
Because I know we, I know I get on my parents'
Yes.
nerves,
Yes.
so they probably
Yes.
like, "I'm so glad she out of here."
Yes, my mom would be like, "Oh Lord, Cecilia," that's her in her voice. Cecilia, okay, all right, all right, all right. Oop, you blanked out. Oop.
There you are.
Okay, I don't see you. Okay, there you go. Yeah, she would just, and I'll be like, "Yeah,
It
I
sounds
know."
like you're muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
Really? I don't know what happened. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think you muted yourself. Can you hear me? Yeah,
I
mine's is.
can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Hmm.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Really? Oh wow, that's interesting. I don't know what happened. I'm looking at If you can hear, okay, I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
Nope, I can't hear you.
Hmm. Okay, my thing is on. Let's see. Let's see. It's on. Oop. Let me check something else. I don't know what was happening. Uh. Okay, let me see. I'm looking to see if something went wrong in my little back office, but I don't think I see anything wrong. Are you okay now?
You know, I took one meeting. I was like, but then
Hmm. Okay, can you hear me now? I don't know what was happening. Can you hear me? Uh, okay, let me see. You still can't hear me? Went
I
wrong in
can't
my.
hear you. I still can't hear you.
That's interesting. I can hear you. Are you okay now? Hmm. Let's see.
I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
That's okay. Interesting. I can hear you. Oh wow! Wait a minute. Hmm. Oh, she went out. Okay, what happened? I lost my guess. Oh, okay. She's trying to come back in.
There you go. Can you hear
Okay,
me
you can hear.
now?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you.
I don't know what happened. I said, well, let me
Okay.
just try to log back out. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so now how are your parents doing now? I mean, how is your mom? Um,
Mom is doing well. She started a new chemo, and
okay.
she's doing well. Her numbers are good. The
Okay.
doctor, she has an excellent doctor. Shout
Okay.
out to Dr. Paul Famby. He is an
Okay.
excellent doctor. And mom is she's doing really well. Her numbers are looking good, and she's doing well. Dad is doing good too. They're both doing really well.
Okay,
They're both
great.
doing really well right now. So that's good.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
good.
your dad is wheelchair bound?
Yeah, he has neuropathy. So
Okay.
he's able to transition and get wherever he wants. He has a motorized wheelchair, so he's very independent in
Mhm.
terms of getting himself ready and all the things
Okay.
that he does. Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have any like health aides to assist you or anything?
No, not no.
Okay. So do you know in Maryland if they have any programs or do you have to, like you said, almost be poor to, because I know that I had Lady Bird on, and she was talking about she got some assistance, some health aids for her brother.
So the only help assistance I ever received is if my dad had to go into the hospital and
Hmm.
he would come out. And so he would have temporary home care service.
Okay.
We did have one lady that would come and kind of help out. And she was from, I can't even think of the place that she was from, but I'm still, like I said, I'm learning. I really am trying to learn Virginia now because that's where
Okay.
we reside.
Hmm.
But in Maryland, there are a lot of home health programs that are associated with the hospital. But if you go through your primary care physician,
Hmm.
they can write an order also,
Okay.
for, yeah.
Right. Because I think, yeah, that's how most of my mother's services came through a physician.
Hmm.
Now, as far as their medicines, so you do set up their medicine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I guess you do the meals.
Yeah. But my dad, let me tell you about my dad now. He's in a wheelchair, but he rolled on in the kitchen today. He's making homemade rolls
Oh
for
my.
Thanksgiving. So we got it. When I get off the call, we're
Hmm.
gonna go ahead and knead them and dip them in the butter. And I mean, I guess he's gonna tell me what
Wow.
to do because he has the recipe. So I'm gonna follow it.
Oh, well, that is wonderful.
Yeah,
That is
yeah. He
wonderful.
loves to cook. So
Okay.
when he's able, he does. He comes in and he can do a little something something. He was always a cook. He was the one that
Oh.
did all the cooking. Every time we have an event,
Hmm.
family affair, my dad did the cooking.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay.
He was famous for roast, pot roast, and
Mm.
anything with carrots and potatoes.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And
Yeah.
sugar.
And
And he
sugar.
loves sweets. And shout out to
Oh
my
Lord.
mother-in-law.
Uh-huh.
She makes sweets for my dad.
Okay. For him. Okay. Yeah. And my mom, she loved to cook. Actually, she her
Yeah, I remember I used to buy pound cake from your
yes,
mom.
yes. People used to buy pound cakes, pies. Some people would have her making their potato salad for special occasions. And she actually, for a while when she had her health aid, they would bring her ingredients, and she would, do her mixing or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and give them instructions. But her all three of her main health aides were Ethiopian, and
Mm.
she taught her main one, Meseret, how to cook American food.
Oh
So
wow.
Meseret know how to make pig feet and macaroni and cheese and black eyed peas.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Ah,
She was in
yes,
there. Your mom. She thought she was taking care of your mom, but your mom was taking care of her. She was giving
exactly.
her free cash
Yes.
crash lessons on how to cook.
Yes, yes. And it would be so funny because, on those holidays, and she was like, "Oh no, I'll help start the meal." And it was certain things she would start, but she learned
Hmm.
that from my mom.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Hmm.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Cecilia?
Um,
Because the holidays and.
yes. It's a struggle. Like I said, life after caregiving, when your loved one has transitioned, it's because this is like a year and 6 months now.
Hmm.
And I have my moments, but I just, know that she's still with me in spirit. I when I see a butterfly, I say that's her. If I see two of them flying together, I say that's my parents.
Oh,
Because
okay.
when I go to the grave site, I usually see two of something. If it's two birds, two butterflies. One time I saw two wild turkeys. I
Mm.
was like, okay. First I was scared of them because they were so tall. I was like, what is that? And then I was like, okay, because they're at um Quantico.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're like right by the line of trees.
Oh.
And so the wild turkeys was on the other side, and I've seen so many beautiful birds out there,
Mm.
but yeah, it's it's kind of last Thanksgiving, me and my god sister Trina, we because she had lost her mom too.
Okay.
5 months after I lost my mom, and she's like my sister. So last holiday, Thanksgiving, we volunteered, and then we went to eat at
Mm-hmm.
Cracker Barrel.
Mm,
So this year, I mean, it's just because usually my mom was the one who had the Thanksgiving, and
mhm,
even you know I carried it on with her,
mhm,
still being, with us. I would
mhm,
still cook, we would cook and have everyone over because
mhm,
that was her thing.
mhm.
And but this year, you can't really get together with anyone.
I
So
know. Yeah.
yeah. But it's a good thing that you have your support, your husband is as a support. I know towards I'll say 3 months um before my mom, maybe 4 months,
Mhm,
I did have a friend who kind of really helped me
mhm,
fill in sometimes because when the aide calls out, like you don't know from day to day, and the aide may call out for whatever
mhm,
reason,
mhm,
and I'm either going to be late for work or if and then my neighbors, they really helped out. I mean, our neighborhood was like a family,
mm,
and the Jenkins family really, really helped me um, in a lot of tight situations. And
mhm.
sometimes when the substitute aide was, my mother would kind of dry snitch, right? She would call and say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I haven't had my food yet," or
Oh, she was.
"Oh,
She.
uh-huh." And so then I'll call Mr. Jenkins, would you mind just going in and checking in so that those aides would know there's somebody watching you because
Mhm.
sometimes those substitute aides aren't just, I don't even know what to say. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and then you're always thinking, it's good you work from home now.
I do. I work from home. I
Okay.
was working actually. That's another blessing. I actually have been working from home.
Okay.
That's how it was such an easy transition for me, to kind of relocate to go to stay with my parents. I have
Hmm.
the my boss. He is a great support.
Wonderful.
There are a few times where I have to go in the office,
Hmm.
but because of COVID now, I think I've only gone in like once, but he's very, very supportive.
Okay.
Yeah, he understands. He gives me leeway, if that's the
Mm.
right word,
Yeah.
especially if he knows I have to go to an appointment. He knows every Tuesday I have to take mom to chemo. So
Okay.
I try to call him before I go in, go in just
Hmm.
to touch base. But yeah, he allows me to set my hours and all this. It's great.
And
I
that's
can't ask
major.
for it really is. I
Hmm.
can't ask for a better supervisor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that my supervisors, they have kind of been very understanding and supportive because a couple of them have had older parents,
Mm,
so they kind of understood. But I would being at work, I was able to do my work, but in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking and wondering or waiting for a call. I mean, it's just
mhm,
it's
mhm.
a lot. You don't realize just how much mentally and emotionally you are having all these exercises. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a
It's not because you don't. It's not like for guilt for your parent, but
right.
it's for you wanting to make sure that everything is okay and
Yes,
dotting all your
yes.
T's, because then you feel guilty if something
Mhm.
happens.
Exactly.
So, as a caregiver, though, all those mixed emotions,
Mhm.
and you say you don't want help, you're okay, but then you get resentful when no one calls.
Called,
So,
uh-huh,
my
uh-huh.
prayer has always been, and it still is don't let me be resentful.
Right,
This is
right.
my walk, God. So help me not to be resentful. Give me
Mhm.
endurance. Give me my energy
Strength,
and
yes.
keep my health. And when I got sick in March, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, you're not gonna keep me healthy, take care of my parents, like
Right.
what's
What
going
is this?
on? But
Uh-huh.
then I realized I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, and so I
Mm.
prayed to God. I was like, if you keep me healthy,
Right.
I promise I'm gonna eat better. Cause as a caregiver, you don't eat right. You're
No.
making all the healthy meals, but you're not
Yes.
even eating.
No.
You're not even eating them. Like you
No.
go run to
No.
the store, you'll go stop at a fast food place. That's
Yes.
just like
Pick up
crazy.
something.
That's
Mhm.
just stress. I found out
Yes.
that's like stress eat. So
Yes.
now I try to eat better. I go
Okay.
walking every day. Well,
Okay.
I try to walk every day. There are days that sometimes I can't walk, and it's not because of being a caregiver. It's just that life or some things that we've had in our schedule to
Right.
do or work or something comes up that I'm just not able to get it in, particularly since the time has changed. It gets dark so
Mhm.
early. It's
Yes.
5 o'clock, but it's pitch black like it's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
But I'm really just trying to focus on my health. To eat better, to eat right.
Mhm.
Losing weight is
Yes.
great.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a great carrot. But I want to get off my blood pressure medicine because I was on
Okay.
stroke alert,
Yes.
and I don't. That was a bad feeling, and the
Mhm.
anxiety with it
Mhm.
all. I'm not. I'm do better, and it's
Yes.
the bloodline too.
Yes. That's very true.
You're taking care of my parents, and I'm like, I could have the potential to have some of these illnesses also. So I want to
Mhm.
make sure that I'm eating, right, and I'm doing
Right.
some things that keep me healthy. And so that's where um I think talking about support where my husband has been, he's like, all right, come on, get up and walk. I'm like, why are you walking so fast? You walking me to death. But now I'm beating him and walking,
All right now.
so
Hey.
he don't kill me when he hear that. He don't say, I don't think so. So this weekend I ain't walking with him.
I know he
Yeah,
he going to stick it to you.
you know it. You know it. But it's
Oh
all in
God.
fun. It's a little healthy
Yeah.
competition. It's all in fun.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's really good. I know that we have moved down the street into the new buildings and we had a gym inside. So I eventually had a personal trainer come to me.
Oh,
And
that's
yeah, yeah, and we used that gym. And then I started encouraging my mother, and so she would go down there. Her caregiver would take her down there before I come home from work. And
mm-hmm.
I have a little video where she was pulling down on the thing. She in her
Mm-hmm.
wheelchair, but she working it.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah,
That
and
was
so
good.
in things, those moments like that, you just you're happy to see. One thing, my mother was a fighter. I mean, she didn't like being down because she was always the person that people could come to, that she cooked for people, that she
Mm-hmm.
took care of people. She took care of people's families when the mother was down.
Mm-hmm.
So she it was difficult for her
Mm-hmm.
to be, a person now who couldn't really do the things that she wanted to do for herself.
Mm-hmm.
But when she would have issues, when she couldn't walk, she would fight and be determined. And sometimes I'll be like, no, mom, just let us, get the wheelchair for you. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes she would be like, no, I'm a walk with my walker.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's it's a journey, and it's rewarding, and you're thankful to God that he allowed you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it was totally on his strength, and I admit there were times that I did break down because it was like um you still don't want to see your parent, ailing,
Mm-hmm.
because this was
Mm-hmm.
your rock,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
especially like I said, when she would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," or yeah, but sometimes she would be like, "Oh, you need to go get your hair done."
She said, don't be standing on me looking bad."
So, sometimes she would kind of kick in, okay, you need to go
Mm-hmm.
take care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
lady.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was it was like rewarding. And I always emphasized to her she was not a burden, because sometimes when there were some things that were a little, like, if when I had to help, you know, pull her up or whatever, and she would sometimes be like, well, you could just put me in a nursing home. And I'd be like, no, Ma, that's not an option.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
want to get through this,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
yeah, just, I'll definitely pray for your strength, your continued strength. And I know God will bless you. And now that you are doing things to keep yourself healthy, because that was my prayer too. A
Mhm.
couple of times I had like toothache or whatever, and you kind of try to cover that up from them, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And I know one time I just kind of stayed in the room, because the aide was still there, and my mother was hollering there, "You need to eat." Like she made some food.
She still was your mother. She told
She
that
still was
teen
my
you
mother.
break the food.
And she would tell the aide, go and check on her in there. I
Mhm.
would hear her say, and I'm like, oh goodness. But God, He knows your heart, and He will definitely send you what you need when
Mhm.
you need it. Because I had the best home health aides. They treated my mom like she was their mom,
Mhm.
and they always said to me, you showed me how to love my mom, my parent. And I'm like, huh? It's like,
Yeah.
you never know who's watching you.
No.
And um,
Mhm.
so it's just a blessing overall. It
Mhm.
really is.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you want to share or say?
No, I just really appreciate the opportunity to, come on live and to talk with you. I appreciate you asking me. I mean, I feel like it's an honor. And I just to shout out to all the caregivers, because it's
Yes.
caregiver family caregiving month. You
Hmm.
know, get a caregiver, get a support group. I'm sorry, get a support group.
Definitely.
Ask for help.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's okay to be tired.
Yes. Yes.
Um, advocate for your loved one. I have so many caregivers that are a part of my life.
Mm.
I talked about Commissioner Morris, but I want to give shout outs to Lance Nard and Joy Smith and
Hmm.
Colette Walker and Sherry Walker and Ashley Brown and Kimberly Glenn and Angie
Hmm.
Glenn. You know, I had a lot of caregivers that I'm following who were
Right.
caregivers,
Hmm.
and I don't know what their walk was, but I know what my
Right.
walk is. And
Yes.
if my walk is that way, I know their walk is this way. And I know the person's coming behind us, Cecilia,
Yes.
their walk is going to be the same.
Hmm.
And their voice needs to be heard. We have a voice, caregivers have a voice.
That's
And
so very true.
it's okay. It's
Hmm.
okay to be tired.
Hmm.
Caregivers need to be celebrated. They
Yes.
are special people. I read something that says caregivers are like diamonds. They're
Mm.
they're strong and they're resilient. And
Mhm.
every day is a resilient day because it's another
Yes.
day to love God's people, person,
Yes.
your loved one,
Yes.
just as hard as He loves us.
Yes. Yes.
And that's just how I see caring for my
Mm.
parents. It's an
Mhm.
honor. It's a privilege. I
Yes.
had excellent parents. They were
Yes.
excellent parents. There's no perfect parent, of course.
Right.
There's no book on how to be a perfect parent, but they gave to God's people and to the
Mm.
church. and
Yes.
and although they're ill, I just want all persons who are sick, just because
Mhm.
you're sick doesn't mean stop your life.
That's right. That's
It
right.
doesn't mean to stop your life. It
That's
means to
right.
keep up and go and to show that God still shines even when you're sick, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And that's even more to me a testament how you do when you're down. Because people watch you
Mm.
when you're down just like they watch you when you're up.
That's so true. That's
So
so true.
I just appreciate Cecilia. I appreciate seeing you again and talking to you
Yes,
again. And we
it's
have
an
to keep in
honor.
touch.
We do, and even if you're saying those that have got caregivers that you know kind of have watched, you know, my mom was a caregiver for her grand for her stepdad and for my grandmother. She because my grandmother couldn't really go and see him, so my mother would do all of that until he transitioned. But I know when my grandmother was sick, I was 19 when she passed, but I was the one who relieved my mother on Friday nights. And people was like, "You so young, you giving up your Friday nights?" Yes, I did it for a whole year until my grandmother transitioned so my mother could have a break. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she was there. She had a home health aide during the daytime. Then my mother would go there during the week at night, but on Friday night she would go home and I would come and be there for
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, and I told my mother she could come whatever time she wanted on Saturday, you know. And then we would start the whole thing and we did it for a year. So I saw my mother, you know, be there for her mom because her mom was bedridden.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And my
it,
mom took care of her mom also. My grandmother
see,
had Alzheimer's, and
mm-hmm,
I saw my mom, even though she was passing the church, her and my dad was just like
mm,
Sean is my rock. He was her
yes,
rock,
yes,
and I remember my grandmother, I would help my mom, my grandmother would come over and I'm like, all right, we can get in the shower today,
yes,
and kind of
yes,
do things. So it is,
mm-hmm,
generational. It is,
yes.
but it's not for everybody.
Right, it's not.
And
It's
those
not.
persons who aren't in the family, who aren't doing the caregiving or being a caregiver, it doesn't mean they don't love you any
It
less. It's just
doesn't.
everybody has a different call and everybody has a
Yes,
different walk.
and everybody is made differently and can handle and deal with things differently,
Mm-hmm.
and that is true. And you know, so it's so you just have to walk and move in what you definitely are called to do, and just do it to the best of your ability with God's help.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the bottom line. But we will be in contact,
Okay.
and you know, I'll have you online again for
Oh goodness, I
another
have to get my
topic. I mean,
nerve back up.
because you do so much, and we could talk about mental health and all that stuff at a given time, but
Okay.
definitely for this month because I know that you are just doing what God has you doing for this time, for such a time as this, and I just admire you, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just honored that you accepted the invitation.
Oh, thank you, Cecilia.
So
You have
God bless you.
okay. God bless you too. Thank you for having me.
Okay,
Okay. Bye bye.
bye bye. Okay, and thank you all who was here to listen, and I just hope that this helps you. And again, I put the number for the Hands of Hope Foundation for caregivers in Maryland, and that telephone number is 202-997-4073. Okay, be blessed.